In the middle of a noisy garage filled with the clang of metal tools and the smell of motor oil, John suddenly collapsed on the cold concrete floor. The loud sound of machines drowned out his fall, and no one rushed to help at first. Everyone was busy with their work, unaware of the struggle he was going through. What John didn't know was that someone, a quiet man, had been silently watching him every single day for weeks. John was not an ordinary mechanic. He didn't come from a privileged background, no fancy degrees, no network of friends to rely on, just a worn toolbox and a heart full of grit and determination. Every morning before sunrise, John arrived at the garage, opening the doors, cleaning the floors, and getting his hands greasy, ready to face his hard day. He never complained, not even when customers shouted at him or when his boss mocked him behind his back for being too slow. John just kept moving forward, quiet, focused, determined. There was one driving force pushing him, his mother. She was sick, and the medical bills kept piling up. Every single dollar he earned went to her care. He often skipped lunch, worked overtime, and walked home because he couldn't afford gas. Some nights, exhausted, he would sleep right in the garage, just to save time and money. Most people in the shop didn't notice him. They laughed at his torn boots, rusty lunchbox, and silence. But John kept working, steady, resilient, unbroken. And every day at exactly 4:30 p.m., a quiet man in a spotless car would pull up to the garage. He'd drop off his vehicle, say almost nothing, then leave. No one cared about him except John. John always made sure this customer received the best possible service with no shortcuts or excuses. One Friday, the garage was busier than usual. John had already fixed 3 cars by noon. The fourth, an old engine with a complicated problem, was testing his patience and endurance. His hands were bleeding from small cuts, and his back was aching badly. He hadn't eaten all day, but he kept working nonstop. Then suddenly, at exactly 6:15 p.m., his body gave out. John collapsed slowly but heavily on the garage floor next to the car lift. Fatigue and exhaustion had pushed him beyond his limits, and the pain was clear on his face. Silence fell abruptly in the garage. Everyone stopped working and stared at him. Some co-workers laughed mockingly, others ignored his collapse. But one man could not stay still. The quiet customer who had been coming every day stepped forward slowly and knelt beside John. He raised his voice so everyone in the garage could hear. "I have been watching this man for 3 weeks. I brought my car here every day just to see if he was the real deal." The entire garage went silent, struck by his words. He never cut corners, never asked for favors. He worked like he truly cared, and that is very rare. Then he pulled out a business card. "My name is Richard Hayes. I own a chain of advanced engineering plants, and I want this man to lead my next facility." Everyone was stunned. Their perception of John changed instantly. This quiet, simple man with torn boots was being offered a leadership role by a millionaire. Just 2 weeks later, John traveled to a new state, where he was personally mentored by Richard. John didn't have a college degree, but he had something far more valuable: discipline, determination, and problem-solving skills. Within 6 months, he was managing a team of 30 technicians, respected and admired by all. He never stopped working hard, but his life had completely changed. Now he had health insurance for his mother, a clean apartment, and something he never dreamed of before: true respect. In a special moment, John sat with Richard and felt a deep gratitude. He spoke with emotion. I wouldn't have made it here without you. You bet on a man no one had ever seen, and you gave me a chance that changed my life. This is not just a job. This is a rescue for my family. Richard smiled and said, Life gives opportunities to those who deserve them. And you, John, have shown that willpower and honest work are more important than any degree. Not every story ends like John's, but here's what we all must remember. Someone is always watching. Sometimes a mentor, sometimes life testing your patience. Don't give up. Don't lower your standards just because no one is applauding you yet. The moment you think you're invisible might be exactly the moment someone important is noticing. If this story moved you, please share it with those you know and subscribe to the channel to get more stories that prove success isn't about luck or privilege, but about grit and perseverance. Keep going. Always show up.